Oh my goodness, you guys came back. Well, at least I came back because when I make a promise, I follow through on it unless I forget about it, which happens quite often. We're just here to hang out again. I'm actually going to try something different today because there's 4 articles that I have lined up and I've only read all of them halfway through. So it's more going to be like a reaction kind of thing because I'm not monetized and because I'm not paying attention to any of this stuff. Uh, at least as far as monetization goes, just trying something new. Why not? Why the hell not? I hope everyone has a great day, has had a great day. I woke up extremely early, not realizing that they changed my work schedule. Hopefully it's just for this 1 week, and went into work and couldn't clock in because I'm supposed to be off. So I'm kind of tired, actually. I mean, I'll end up being awake for another 6 or 7 hours, but that's just kind of how things run over here for me. I'll get my third wind and we'll be straight back into business. Speaking of somebody, I'm looking at you. Who doesn't get a third win? She just passes out. She might make an appearance later on. She doesn't have to. We're just going to see and we're just going to hang out. Basically it. Well, we can start with the first one because things get a little weird whenever Rachel Zegler, Zeggy Weggy, Zeggy Peggy, if you like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, that reference comes out. That's how I came up with that nickname for her. She's coming out and saying something again. Why is she talking? Why isn't there something shoved? No, I shouldn't even say that. Not even on a live stream. We should not say that. But we'll go straight into the first little article. Rachel Zegler claims leaving Hollywood was her choice after the Snow White flop. Sure, it was her choice. It wasn't that she had a coach that she completely disregarded. And every time she came out and gave an interview or made a social media post, she stuck her foot in her mouth so many times. So who removed the foot from the mouth? Because I think it was so far down there, it had to have been done surgically. Yet nobody wants to hire her. And all the movies, or the 1 or 2 movies that she had already signed on for, have basically dropped her, and those are now on pause. So the leaks, what the fuck do you call them? The leakers would say. No, I'm not going video mode. I am really freaking tired. What else was I going to say about her? Just about the title. Leaving Hollywood. Oh, yeah. She's doing a bunch of Broadway plays now, which is where she belongs. With all the gays and queers over there, they're just happy to sing. They're happy to sing about gay stuff all the time, all day long. Go ahead, Rachel Zeggy Weggy. That's where you belong. Go back over there. You're not ever going to be a leading lady in Hollywood. Not that Hollywood deserves any better with how they're doing things. And don't pretend to pout about it. I will there you. And somebody sitting right next to me does not like when I do that. Rachel Zegler is claiming she made the decision to leave Hollywood and return to theater after the disastrous Snow White. She's back in the spotlight, but not the one she used to chase. No, she's back in the spotlight for things that make her sweat a little bit more and a lot more heavy. In a new feature interview, the embattled actress offers a carefully curated look at her current chapter. Starring as Eva Perón in the already controversial West End revival of Vita. And who the hell actually cares about this? But Beneath the Gloss is a deeper story, a Hollywood career that seemingly stalled rapid in public relations narrative that Zegler insists was always her own design. It was her own design to make the audiences fucking hate her. I think it was at this point with that generation, it obviously would not baffle me if it actually was her design for all of this to come down to just one Twitter poll question. Would you or would you not? I don't know. What's your answer? I would to shut her the fuck up. Why is she coming back? Maybe because nobody wouldn't. I came back to theater on my own volition, which is just crazy. What do you mean came back to theater? You started off on YouTube just singing songs in your room. I'm the type of person that can only be bored for like 2 weeks. Really? After Romeo and Juliet closed, I was doing the odd press here and there for Snow White, was sitting there for a bit going, what am I supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? Shut your mouth and work on your craft. Now, if Broadway is the way that you're supposed to go, because that's basically all you can do is sing, because you definitely can't think for your fucking self, then yes, focus on Broadway. Those are your people over there. And trust me, you can keep them. The majority of Americans and worldwide box offices do not want you around. That quote may say more than she intended. So let's see what this author has to say about it. Her use of the phrase on my own volition reads like a preemptive defense, one that echoes a familiar tone of you can't fire me, I quit. Yes, because yeah, I've already said that. So like I agree with this person. Is this Montanaro? Hold on. Yes, this is Montanaro. This is the guy that wrote this. And we'll go all the way back down. Especially when paired with the admission that she was idle and aimless following the fallout of Snow White, it becomes hard to view her return to theater as purely strategic or artistic, because it wasn't at all. Because in the last little semi-strategic shit that they tried to do in the PR moves was basically to keep her and Gal Gadot completely away from her. Not only to become political, but it also become, it was ideological for a long time before. Yeah, she's out there bragging that Snow White was not going to follow the original Snow White. And when it's a remake of a fucking classic, what got Disney on the map, what saved them from bankruptcy and made them into the company that they now are, that Bob Iger and all these other people are trying to meticulously destroy. Yeah, that was their last little strategy. However, free speech exists, and Rachel Zegler can't keep her fucking pig mouth shut. Rather, it sounds like a damage control. An actor quietly retreating to the one arena, still willing to embrace her. But this time, it's not damage control from a coach. This is damage control because she has nowhere to turn. She is backed into a corner, and those teeth are not going to save her. Zegler's Hollywood trajectory hit a wall after multiple controversies. We're not going to go off into all of this. You could talk about her breakout performance in West Side Story, but that movie flopped as well. You could talk about her in Shazam. But she was in the second Shazam, which flopped as well. The Hunger Games prequel, which nobody gave a fuck about. It made money. Well, did it make money? I would have to look that up. But was far and away the worst performing title in the franchise. So yes, it was already on the way out, which we all knew that. Then came Snow White. I think, was there anyone that did good beside maybe Jungle Book? The Lion King 2019 was terrible. Beauty and the Beast pissed me the fuck off. That Cinderella with the guy who played oh goodness, what's his name? Oh my goodness, he died in the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones. It has been so long since I watched that series of TV shows. I can't even remember. No, not Ned Stark. That was the dad. The Stark guy who died. Everyone got massacred. And that's when Lyanna Stark got, well, was that Lyanna? I am so freaking out of my element right now because it's been so long since I've seen this stuff. Anyway, so going back to my original point, Cinderella and maybe The Jungle Book, which was Jon Favreau's first foray into it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was Disney's first foray into live action 3D animation of old classics. Nothing's been good since then. Zegler's offhand comments mocking the original 1937 classic. Yeah, we can go about that all day. A prince isn't going to save the day. Let's just make that clear right now. She don't need no man. Well, she definitely needs the man to sign her paychecks because she ain't getting them no more. And so this is the way that she looks whenever she goes to another job interview. Spray it on my face. Spray it wherever the hell you want to. Just please give me some work because I'm bored as hell and nobody wants me anymore. Oh my. Yeah, that got a little risque. that got a little rough towards the end of that one. Probably the way that she likes it now. She probably liked that from the get-go. But her mouth was already always gagged, so whenever she got a chance to speak, she finally could. She coughed it out of her system. I'm being extremely mean today. I don't know what's wrong with me. Who knows? Oh, brother bear. It's not even that hot today in Texas. It really isn't. It's been it's been a productive day, at least for me and everything that I do, but it's also been pretty chillaxed. Just been hanging out with the dog, waiting on Miss Malty to get off from work, going picking her up, and we've just been chilling. We ate dinner, all kinds of good stuff. I think it's just that I woke up for no reason. So we're finding a reason to be awake. Now, here's something. This will be short as well, but we can at least talk our trash about it. And by the way, this is not my content. Like, my content is not always to rip on things. I also make videos about stuff that I enjoy. I do it a lot. But there's just so much crap in Hollywood and so much stuff coming out like in pop culture media that deserves to be called for what it is. And a lot of it does deserve to be picked apart. But this is just something that's funny to me because since Cobra Kai just ended, now whether or not they bring off spinoffs or anything like that, Cobra Kai star Martin Kove accused of biting co-star Alicia Hannah Kim at fan convention. Now, if you watched Geeks and Gamers Daily earlier today, they did speak on this, which is why I'm not going to go too far into it. But I just think it's absolutely hilarious because, all right, so this was the original trainer from the original Karate Kid back when Ralph Macchio was a little kid. Well, wasn't he like 17, but he was meant to be portraying like a 12-year-old or something? I don't know. It was something like that. Ralph Macchio just basically doesn't age. He's got crow's feet now, and that's basically it. But yeah, the dude has always looked like a sinister little devil. But apparently, he bit his co-star at a fan convention. How did this happen? Maybe the article will tell us. But I kind of think it was more along the lines of he got riled up because the fans were cheering them on, and he was just like, argh, and maybe he bit down too hard. And she's a little pussy, or she has a pussy anyways. At least we know that she's biologically female. So it was just like, yeah, that wasn't in the script. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Oops. Karate Kid actor and Cobra Kai TV star Martin Kove was asked to leave a van convention over the weekend after allegedly biting co-star Alicia Hannah Kim during a VIP meet and greet, according to a report from the police department. So they had to be called. Obviously, all these things are highly filmed. Photographs, surveillance cameras everywhere, police everywhere. And I think it really just was just he got into a moment and didn't know his own strength. It happens to the best of us. The alleged incident occurred Sunday at SummerCon in Pull y'all up. Hold on. Pull y'all up. That's like a redneck way. Pull y'all up by your bootstraps. Washington, where Kove and Hannah Kim, both of whom appear in the Netflix series, were participating in programming and fan activities. And reps for him did not immediately respond because they wanted to get the PR message on point. According to the report, though, Hannah Kim told an officer working the VIP section that after tapping Kove on the shoulder to say hey, he suddenly grabbed her arm and bit her so hard he nearly drew blood. Nearly, but didn't. But they will still leave a mark. I've been bitten by a feral bitch before, too. The report states that when she cried out in pain, Kove allegedly started kissing her on where he had bitten her. The report detailed that she then told her husband, who was present, and the pair went to confront him about the incident. So that's kind of what it makes me think. He heard her voice, and they used to fuck around on set. Now, I'm not saying, like, in any way they were, like, cheating or anything like that. So, yeah, they probably were in some fight scenes at some point. Or at least a little bit of sparring. They were probably jabber-jawing back and forth. And, like, he heard her voice. She tapped him on the shoulder when no one expected. He was like, all right. Oh, no. Oh, and whenever he realized that he had hurt her, he was like, okay, kisses make everything better. That's what you do to your little dog. And that's what you do to little kids. At least, from people my age and older, who is actually, Cove is like twice as old as I am. But anywho, this is a digression as well, which is like most of my brain nowadays. The report states that upon confronting Cove, he exploded on them, saying something to the effect of how dare they confront him. Probably because he didn't actually mean to do it, and now you're causing a scene when he didn't. I think this is all a big misunderstanding. Cove claimed he was trying to be funny, adding they play fight all the time on the set of Cobra Kai, but she wished to have a report filed in case this continues. Well, after the report has been filed and this has now reached the mainstream, they're probably not going to be allowed to be in the same room because the charges were filed. Yeah, this is just something. I mean, Cobra Kai, do or die. This just smells to me of boys roughhousing, and it would have been totally fine. And he was just out of his element, trying to rile up fans in a private, like it says, VIP meet and greet. Someone taps him on the shoulder, and he's like, all right, I got you. Like she got snake bit. And that's all it was. It was like, oh shit, I actually hurt you. Okay, all right. Let me kiss it, make it better. Hey, it was just on her arm. It's not like he was like trying to fondle or grope her or anything like that. He was just like, hey, wait, I didn't mean that. All right, we're cool, right? I thought we had that kind of friendship because we had that friendship while we were filming. Now, I am not making excuses for him, but this is just me pontificating and just trying to see the evidence of the story and what might have actually happened. Rather, yeah, I do agree with Hannah Kim. Yes, just report it and let him know. It's like, no, we don't play around like that anymore. You shouldn't be putting your teeth on anybody anyway, but everyone's got different ways of fucking around when they have friendships. So sometimes things go a little too far. It seems like she didn't think all right. So the reason why she didn't file charges but still made a report is because I don't think she thought or thinks that he actually did it intentionally or with malicious intent. But she still just wants to have it on record. And there's not much more that we can go on saying about this because I am starting to go over my words whenever it comes to this kind of stuff. Lex! What's going on, brother? I'm doing something extremely different today and not reading the articles before I present them. And don't worry, like this is literally just hanging out and like, why not? If there's something I can clip for a video later, I'll clip it. But if not, I really don't care. It's almost like therapy, some could say. Now, since Lex showed up, this next article is going to bash all over Catholics for 45 minutes straight. I'm also just kidding. I don't care about that. Yeah. I actually did get some good feedback from one of my good friends. Is Mike in Idaho. That's his screen name on YouTube. And then his Twitter is different. But he was like, yeah, I like it better whenever politics aren't brought up. Which is difficult to do because politics has been injected into our own media for so long. And especially recently, they just keep injecting more and more. It's like steroids. But now my goal for all of this is if I have a political video, that will be a specific political video. And I try not to do those either. Unless just something really tickles my goat. So I know I went off, that was the Iran thing last time. And yeah, I'm not talking about that. Although it is funny. Right before I went live, it was Tug's Life. If you know her, follow her. Poor Choices with X-Ray Girl. Uh, there's something about Trump dropping the F-bomb, and I was like, but was he wrong though? Anyway, I'm not going to talk more about politics. Cheers to anybody who just stops by. Just hit the like on you. You can drop in and out. I really don't care. It would be great if you stayed and just started roasting me or roasting each other in the chat or just saying hello. But you don't have to do nothing. But try to hit that like button if you see anything of value in here. And this background is a callback to one of the first ones that I ever made for GCA live streams. Because we had the as with fuck your pronouns when he had that epic Starfield rant. And then somebody, and I believe it was Isaac, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Isaac who took a screenshot of one of our live streams. And it just so happened to line up perfectly where my cat on my shoulder was reaching for the trigger if I overlaid this. Yeah, you can't recreate this kind of stuff. Like when the magic happens, you roll with it. All right, what's next? A bunch of little short people. Short people, not of stature, not of age, but of mind, who are apparently high-fiving each other because Steven Spielberg gave them the golden Jew. Jurassic World Rebirth team high-fived each other when they got praise from Steven Spielberg. I just imagine like a freeze frame of them all jumping up in the air with their, obviously they have to pull their legs back like Princess Diaries whenever she gets that kiss. I'll just know because you'll get the foot pop. I just imagined that in midair and then a freeze frame like the end of The Breakfast Club. Steven Spielberg got praise. Well, he was paying for it too. The famed filmmaker is an executive producer on the seventh movie in the dinosaur franchise and was very involved in its making. What exactly does that mean? Well, it definitely means, what the fuck is this person wearing? They just come off a ship? I think this is a commandant of something that was trying to chase down the Black Pearl. Also, is that a... Yeah, it's a girl. It's just got a dyke haircut. Obviously, ScoJo is front and center. Is that Joe Biden over there? He did just walk into the picture. Like, he didn't know where he was. So it was like, hey, you want to take a picture with us? It's probably how he is there. Anywho, oh, it says who they are, but quite honestly, I don't give a fuck. At the movie's New York premiere on Monday, Rebirth director Gareth Edwards noted that when it came to working with a famed filmmaker who holds an executive producer credit on the newest flick, Steven was very involved in this film. He developed the whole storyline with David Koepp and basically had major input as much as me as it started. Now, Gareth Edwards doing this, from everything that I've seen from him, it's going to look good. It's going to be well shot. It's going to come in under budget. But will it actually have a cohesive story? Because the Gareth Edwards films that I have seen from him, they start out with a decent enough premise, sometimes even a very intriguing premise, but they fall apart by the end of it. But they all look good. They look good as shit and for low budget. So maybe with Spielberg and Koepp in there, the script will be decent enough. However, Spielberg also wrote the script for Lost World, and it's not the best one in the world. There's a lot of stuff that, Steven Spielberg was better whenever he was younger and full of passion. His later stuff has fallen off tremendously. So I don't really trust his name on anything anymore. But there's a possibility. And then as filming began, Edwards recalled there was a certain point where he felt he'd set it all up really nicely. And he was like, Gareth, go make your movie. It's over to you now. A lot of pressure. When someone like him gives you that freedom, because he's the reason I'm a film director. Yes, I agree with you. He sets you up. Now you go do your thing. He gave you the foundation, just like how he gave you the foundation and the passion and drive and fervor to become a filmmaker. So he set that up for you personally. Now you go do your thing. So it basically, at this point, what this is telling me, at least out of his own mouth, is that if this movie fails, is because Gareth Edwards went down a wrong path somewhere and probably compounded on it, which is what he does a lot. But hey, I'm going to say it again. At least his movies look good. Rebirth, which stars Skojo, Jonathan Bailey, and Mahershala Ali, is set 5 years after the events of Dominion and after the locusts were destroyed, and follows an extraction team racing to the most dangerous place on Earth, an island research facility for the original Jurassic Park. So even though it's set after that, we're still going to circle all the way back, and now I am losing interest. It was weird shooting a movie knowing that Spielberg is watching everything you're doing. It's quite intimidating. What are you, a little kid? You have made giant films before. Steven Spielberg is just a Jew with the keys to the kingdom, and he's losing those. He's looking for someone that he can mentor, help out, and basically cash a couple of royalty checks off the stuff that he made great way back in the day. But let's all not forget this. 1993 was way back in the day. And then one day you get a text that would say something nice about the dailies from yesterday or something, and you'd have so much relief, and you share it with the cast and everyone, and they'd be high-fiving each other and hugging. Why would you hug? Because you got to take right. Oh, there's people. Oh, this is dementia. This is dementia in action right now. Just because Spielberg looks at the dailies that haven't been edited, they haven't been post-produced, nothing at all. Just raw footage. It's like, oh yeah, that looked good yesterday. Now we have to high five and do freeze frames and hug. You know what John Lasseter got for hugging? Maybe all these people deserve that too. Co-star Rupert Friend, added of the new film. I think this is in many ways a return tonally to the first movie. It's very much a love letter to Spielberg. We shot in 35 millimeter, which is great. I fucking love that. And Gareth, our director, has referenced pretty much every film's. Why? So the director, I'm getting angry now. We shot in 35 millimeter film. Wonderful. Don't shoot on digital. Go analog, baby. It gives you that cinematic feel. It gives you that grain. It makes things feel lived in. It makes it feel so much better. They can always develop it further in the future, but shoot on film. But then he has to reference everything Spielberg has ever did. So he's going to reference Close Encounters. He's going to reference E.T., which those two are basically they're not synonymous. The plot is kind of synonymous. You're going to reference AI. Oh my gosh, we're going to have AI in this artificial intelligence with Haley Joel Osment. You know, that was a Spielberg movie. We're going to reference that crap as well. I need to go see if anybody has called in. What's up, Sergeant? How you doing, man? Maybe it's just me, and I'm that pessimistic about absolutely fucking everything. But for every one thing, and this is a trend that I've noticed with Gareth Edwards. For every one thing that comes out that he's doing that I agree with, there's always like this caveat. There's always this little back end thing. It's like, okay, that was cool. But then he also has to brag that he does this kind of stuff. He was like, yeah, but you didn't have to do that. Why could he? Steven Spielberg, according to his own words, literally said, all right, you're all set up. This is your movie now. And what did he do? He made it a movie referencing Steven Spielberg. It's all cyclical. If it's all cyclical, and that's why they keep making remakes of everything, like, why the fuck are we doing anything new from the get-go? Just put these old bastards in the director's chair because we're going to get the same product. It's just going to cost way more because their medical bills are higher because their hearts keep going out. Thank God this is the end of this article. Oh, man. I think I'm going to, as long as the fucking internet doesn't go out, I'm going to clip that part. It'll take a little bit more editing than normal, but I might actually do it this evening. Yeah, I think that article needs to be out there and not just me blowing into the wind. Well, we're already 3 down. Good gracious. This is almost like filming live, except I don't know what I'm talking about. We've done 3 articles in 30 minutes. That's normally filming time is like 8.5 minutes for a 7-minute video, and then 13 minutes for like an 11-minute video. Whew. We need another cheers. The adrenaline is coming up again. We're getting a little bit more pep in our step, especially when I get angry about something. That's really what does it. Ain't that right? Yeah, that gets me when I get riled up. That's when I get going, which is why I don't script things. Because sometimes I can come at things with like a very thoughtful perspective. But if I get angry or if something hits me the wrong way and the adrenaline starts pumping, I go in hard and it's a rant. And then I lose my speech impediment most of the time. So maybe I should get one of those packs, like diabetics. Instead of having like insulin shots, they can get those packs that are basically it's in their arm. I don't know if y'all know about this, but I do. I knew a guy. Well, I was out of high school. I was in college, but I was dating a girl who her parents knew. But senior year of high school for her, she was in band, and one of the best friends that we hung out with all the time had one of those little packs on them. So if they can do that for blood sugar and diabetes, we could do that for adrenaline. And then I can Dolph Lundgren out on anybody at the drop of a hat. Which basically happens anytime anyone threatens my family. But now I won't have to get angry. I'll just be like, I feel like I need to go on a rant. Has anything crazy happened today? I've been on Twitter most of the day, and I haven't really seen too much drama. I mean, the past 2 days with political drama, but today it's been pretty quiet. Now, there was something that happened with Saints and Sinners, the concept art book from the Rippaverse. That came out today because they hit a goal where it got unlocked. And there's not really much drama on Twitter, which is good. That means we could just post stupid shit and jokes and everyone's having a good time. It's the way it should be. Hopefully you're having a good time. All right, I'm done with that one. Last one for this evening. I actually kind of like keeping these short, at least when I don't have somebody to bounce stuff off of. We'll get to that. But as for now, these are kind of just pop-ups. I'll be doing research for private videos, and then I'll see a whole bunch of stuff, and I was like, I don't think this warrants an entire video, so let me just compile them. And then I just go off the rails. Like, I'll schedule this for 2 hours from now. Go have dinner with Miss Malty and hang out for a little bit, and then I'll just go live and talk about all of them at once. Will it get clipped? Who knows? This last one, though, this is going to be a complete roast because it has to do with Seth Rogen. Now, can anybody laugh like him? It seems like it wouldn't be that hard of a laugh to imitate. But I'm pretty sure on playback, that will not sound anything like what Seth Rogen's laugh sounds like. But we will talk about this. Oh my gosh. Seth Rogen once auditioned to play himself, a boy with a cognitive disability, and says it went so bad, grammatically, so badly, it would end my career. So how long ago was this? If the tape leaked, if you have it, burn it. Of course he wants to burn it, because that's all he does. He just burns up joints. This dude, all right, this is going to be very difficult to present without saying words that will get me banned off of YouTube. I fucking hate Seth Rogen. The first time, I didn't watch Freaks and Geeks whenever it first came out. The first time that I was introduced to Seth Rogen was in 40-Year-Old Virgin. And I was like, this guy's not too bad. And then he was in everything. And after, like, all the way, when Sausage Party came out, I was already over it. I think Pineapple Express was the last movie that I actually liked him in. And then it just became monotonous. Kind of like a Will Ferrell thing. Will Ferrell used to be funny, but then you realize the shtick, and there is nothing new with it. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm tired and bored of that. Let's go into and then this one I have not read any of the article. I just saw Seth Rogen was talking about himself, a boy with a cognitive disability. And he seems like a fucking moron, so pot calling the kettle African American. Seth Rogen recently quipped on, of course he's on Jimmy Kimmel, that he might lose his acting career if his early aughts, so early 2000s audition for Geely. Wasn't that a Francis Ford Coppola movie? But that was a historic flop. Was ever made public? This guy, because he wanted to fuck Jennifer Lopez on screen. The studio star and creator was asked by Kimmel if he still has to audition for parts, which prompted Rogen to walk down bad memory lane. It's been a long time. Yeah, because you're producing shit now. You produce Eastbound and Down. You produce like all kinds of stuff. You produce things that like you shouldn't have your name attached to, but maybe it's a good business move from your wife. And thank God, well, it wasn't. Yeah. Your wife does make good business moves. She married you for your money. And thank God it was mostly physical VHS tapes and stuff like that was being used when I auditioned for things, because the things I auditioned for, in retrospect, if they were out of there in the world, they would end my career very, very fast, I believe. Hey, I got something to tell you, brother. There are converters for those things. I used them to convert 8mm film. And I used them to convert VHS tapes whenever I was making films at the age of 14. Using Windows Movie Maker because I was cheap as shit. And I didn't know no better. They were like $40. And they would transfer everything to your computer and convert it for you. So, burning those, someone's already saved it, man. So you are the fucking idiot in this thing. Rogen auditioned for this boy with a cognitive disability in Geely. Yeah, that would go on to Justin Bartha. And I don't think the script was written in what, by today's standards, would be the most sensitive portrayal of a boy with a most sensitive. Why? If they have well, all right. What's eating Gilbert Grape? Cognitive disability, played by a young Leonardo DiCaprio. Fucking fantastic portrayal by a fucking kid with a cognitive disability. Fucking fantastic movie. I know I'm cussing a lot, but this dude is he's an R-tard with a hard R in the beginning and the end. I don't think I wore a helmet in the audition itself, but it was at play. Well, maybe you should have. And I'm tempted to do an impression of what I did, but I can't even do it. I can't. That's how bad it was. It's not about how bad it was. It's just because you've been, I can't say that word either. You've been pickleballed up the ass by Hollywood for so long, and you started out yourself with a cognitive disability. So it's given you PTSD that you went back and you used to make jokes. I am so fucking sick of these people who go back where they were billed as comedians and people who are funny actors and all that kind of stuff. And now they're saying, well, we couldn't get away with those jokes because I can't even repeat the jokes. Well, bitch, that shit's on film. Yeah, you used to do this because now you're just pussyfooting over everything. It's either funny or it isn't. And all of that is, guess what? Subjective. If you get offended by shit, don't go to a comedy. Comedy is meant to poke fun not only at real everyday life stuff, like I said, fucking yesterday in the video, how films are not supposed to be ideological. They're supposed to be stories, overarching stories that can connect with everyone. Comedy is supposed to connect with the majority because it hits home with you. There's something that everyone can remember a point in their life where they felt this way or this has happened to them, and then you poke fun at it and you roast it and you twist it on its head and you make it fucking funny. That's what fucking comedy is. And because you got rich off of it, and Hollywood fucked you up the ass so many times, and now you just want to be this little like peaceful whore. No, it doesn't work that way. You got your money, and now you want to have the moral high ground. Well, guess what? Anakin's winning this jump over your head and chopping all your fucking appendages off. Because I went for it. I saw myself at the Oscars. I'm sorry, that was a very long tangent. Truthfully, if that tape was out in the world today, this would be the last interview you ever saw me do. Oh my gosh. All right. Who has the tape? Because if this guarantees that this is the last interview we ever see Seth Rogen in, please put it out there on the internet. I'll look for it. I'll buy it. Fuck it. I'll make up a fake Gmail account at realsethrogen.com or whatever like that. I will buy it out from under him. Put this out there. If this just guarantees that we never see this stupid bitch again, go ahead, do it. Gonna end that one there. Why am I so angry? Some people just piss me off, man. Just the moral grandstanding is what really grinds my gears. It gets under my skin. Mikey no likey. We still, from that Lego build, the little pin. I don't know if y'all can see that. Oh, there it is. Put it the right way. The little pin. From that Lego build, still can't get this little bastard off. And I don't want to use like needle nose pliers and like scrape the crap out of it. But it's not coming out. So if we had done this the right way, where will we put it? Probably on her bag, not on my bag. But we have an Ultra Ball to spare. That was the last of my topics. We've done 4. I probably get maybe 2 out of the 4 videos. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. You guys have anything to say? How have y'all been doing? Whoever's still here, Lex or Sergeant or anyone else who's just dropped in, do not, yeah, I know I've got a mouth on me, but do not ever feel afraid to drop something in chat, talk to me, anything like that. I don't bite. I bite up. Yeah, Sergeant, I'm so sorry that like there was something going on that Wednesday for the Terminator stream. I'm not going to talk about it, but like there was something going on. The timing just didn't work out. But I'd love to be back on because that what were we talking about the first time? The first stream I was on with you, and that was fun as shit. What was it? I talk about so much stuff. It's so hard to keep track of. Should we do? There are, let me pull it up higher. No worries. There are always more topics to talk about on my stream in the future. Thanks again. For sure, man. I was Jurassic Park. I was like, yeah, I could do 3 hours by myself talking about this stuff, but then that panel was goated. Everyone there, including yourself, you were a great. What would you say, Grant? Oh, maybe that's not the word. I'm going to say grand, master. But what is the name of the people who run the circus? The circus leaders. You did great at that. You kept everyone on topic while adding your own stuff and just shepherding people. You did a great job, dude. That was so much fun. Well, did anything drop? I guess we could look. Why not? Normally, these guys, they don't. After about 4 o'clock, nothing new drops. They just keep rehashing the same shit over and over again. And it's just to keep, I guess, keep engagement or for sure, dude. No problem. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. I don't want to talk about Lizzo. Yeah, most of today. So pretty much, unless you're just following box office numbers, most of today, the news just kind of seems like it was either the shit that I talked about on this stream, which I could just roast, or it's all just filler. I hope y'all didn't hear that. It's like you're gonna hear an echo. Yeah, most of it, most of the news today that we didn't talk about already, and I did make a video earlier today, so that's already out. That's been out for like 4 hours now. It's all just filler. Slow news day, but we can always find a way to laugh. Oh, which that does remind me. Okay, this is something if people want to listen, that's fine. Anybody dealing with depression, there's a post from some of my good acquaintances, the Saska sisters, and I'm not going to go into any details about anything, but I know a lot of people who deal with mental struggles and mental depression. I myself dealt with it for quite a long time. My forearms and other places of my body are full of scars, and I was hospitalized twice for Minecrafting myself attempts. It's not a great thing to go through. You know, you're young, everything's going on in your head and your heart. You're going off of emotions. You don't see an end out of it. This is not nothing is sponsored. But the thing with all this, you have to find your own way in order to rise above that. Now, some people look to faith. I do. I mean, I've always had faith ever since the beginning. But you can still lose sight of that when this stuff is happening because it is a chemical imbalance in your head. The way that I mean, not only has God given me blessings by sending me a person who I am not with by any means, but he sent this person at the right exact time to stop me from being the stain on an 18-wheeler's front grill. You don't have to do faith. You don't have to do it that way. Antidepressants can help you as well. But you need to get those diagnosed from a doctor. There's another thing. You can have friends and reach out to your friends because lean on me when you ain't strong and I'll be your friend. These kind of things seriously help. You need to get your mental status back up. There's another thing that I do, and it's why I don't have very many subscribers. I roast the fuck out of everything. I make myself laugh, and it's not always PC. In fact, most of the time it's not PC. But the reason why I make these jokes and say these outrageous things is because that makes me laugh. And when I'm laughing, my endorphins are up, and I'm not depressed. So that's one of the ways that I handle things. There's also another person who I talked to specifically about depression today on Twitter, and I'm not going to name their name, but they were asking me the same question. Like, yes, I've been through it, and I've also helped other people get through it. But you have to find what works for you. You have to find your happiness. I mean, if your happiness is making YouTube videos, I love making YouTube videos. I do it for fun. Ain't about the money. It's because, hey, I got something I want to say. If other people find enjoyment, is why I did stand-up comedy as well. It makes me laugh. If it makes other people laugh, I can spread that joy. And that joy will just sit there and create a giant cloud that you can just bask in. I don't know if I really wrapped that up very well. This is what happens when you don't script anything. But if you're ever feeling down and out, and it's not something that a little pint of ice cream and a couple of beers or maybe a sangria or something can't handle, go for laughs. It's the natural elixir that lifts your spirits. And then come to chat. Doesn't have to be my channel. Doesn't have to be my videos. Go to a chat and go talk to people. At least in the 199, the chats are very friendly. Everyone's just making jokes constantly. But if you want to be serious, all I have to do is say, hey. And you'll have 15 people saying like, yo, what's up? How you doing? I'm one of those whenever I have time to be in live chats. But I don't have that much time anymore. So normally everything's a rewatch. But when I get to be in live chats, I'll be that same person. Oh, yeah, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing well. How you doing, miss? Well, that's my I'm not a doctor, but that's a little advice. If you're going through a bad time, that's my advice for like, hey, chin up, son. Chin up, kid. There's people out there that can help you. And they can help you for free. Don't feel like a financial burden, because it's not. It's all free to be in these chats and just talk. There are real people out here and real people that care about you. Even when you don't care about yourself, God's still up there. God cares about you, and he knows everything. I'm going to leave it right there. I almost feel like I need to pray, which I will do, but I won't do it on stream. Yeah, if y'all have anything to say, leave it down in the comment section below. I saw we peaked at like 7 people, which I wasn't expecting. But whoever halfway rated over here, I appreciate you so much. We'll see you in a video, at least one video tomorrow. Go check out my stuff on the Multi channel. There's like over 115 videos now. And I try to do them at least 5 per week. Sometimes less, sometimes more. Sergeant Gerantina, you're a mod. You are a goat. Lex, you are the next person who I'm making a mod. And anybody who is out there, yeah, just feel free to chat. We're not going to bite. This is all you have to do. Oh, StreamYard won't let me say that word. In my own stream, StreamYard won't let me say that. Yeah, that's all you have to do. What's up, gay boys? And so long, gay boys. We'll see you later. And then I'm going to have to work on like intros and outros for a live stream. And then I'll do overlays for any videos. So this little stupid duck is out of the picture. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you later. This is Multi. Bye.